Hey guys, welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to be telling you tips and tricks to keeping an aquarium. So thanks for watching. Let's get started. Tip number 1. Never, ever, I can't stress this enough, ever put a fish in a bowl. I know some people put goldfish betta. That's fish abuse. Don't do it. Your fish will die in at least a month. Believe me. So, if you're gonna get a betta, get at least a 5-gallon aquarium. 5 gallons will make your betta happy. But if you're doing betta with something else, try a 10-gallon. And also, if you're getting a goldfish, don't put it in a 10-gallon tank. Put it in at least a 40-gallon tank. 40 gallons. Why do you say that, Shreyas? Well, the reason is goldfish produce ammonia, which is their poop. And when that ammonia builds up, your nitrate, everything's going to go crazy. I don't think you want to be cleaning up a tank. Neither do I. So, for the sake of all goodness, do not put a goldfish or betta in a bowl. And here's something, a little tiny tip for you who like keeping goldfish. Make sure, if you can, you might want to get something that can help you clean up your goldfish's poop, like maybe a bristlenose pleco, or something that eats poop and then poops it back out into smaller bits. I think that's a lot more better than having giant bits floating or sinking to the bottom of your tank. So, now let's move on to the second tip. Tip number 2. This is sort of important, but make sure to turn off your heater and your filter when doing large amounts of water change. You might hear this a lot, yeah, I get it, but it's actually really life-saving. One day I was doing a water change for my giant tank, and when I'm draining it, all of a sudden I noticed that the filter intake's out, and I start hearing like weird things happening in my motor. I was like, stop it right now. So I turned off the filter, got it done, and it was so much better. Trust me, do not, just don't do it. It gets way too annoying. And also, for your heater, if you can get an auto on and off, that's going to be a lifesaver sometimes. If you're a forgetful person or you're just starting to get into this hobby, you might not want to always just have to plug in and out that. Maybe get an automatic heater, so when the water level gets too low, nothing happens to your fish. Like 0 happens, your fish are okay, and the heater will turn off by itself. Best idea you can think of. So, on to tip number 3. Now we're on to tip number 3. Always have medications on hand. The reason I say this is if your fish, not part of your fault, but if your fish suddenly gets something wrong, it's a good idea to have medication on hand. You don't want to discover it and then have to order it. By then your fish is already gone most likely. But if you have it on hand, I'd like to think is that having it and not having anything wrong there is better than not having it and having something going on there. Make sure that it works for pretty much anything. So like wounds, Popeye, eye cloud, body slime, and mouth fungus, fin rot, and open red sores, stuff like that. Really bad stuff. You want to have something on hand, like Ick-X and Melfix. These 2 are probably a must. So, let's move on to tip number 4. Okay, now we're at tip number 4. This is to always have a hospital tank in case one of your fish gets sick. So in my case, I don't have the need to have one. But if I had a giant community tank out in the big one that's over there, then I have this as a backup. Maybe you wouldn't run it all the time, but at least every now and then you want to clean this up, run it once, make sure everything's working, and shut it back off. Or you could just leave it like that. Now on to tip number 5. Okay, tip number 5 is always try to look for anything that your fish is feeling aggression, it's being sad or something. Look for those things. You always want to check on your fish every now and then. So, like I get tricked all the time by my beta. Sometimes she likes to stick on that little grill part right there that goes into the filter. She sticks on there, I'm like, what happened? And if I hit the tank really, I tap it a bit, she'll jump right off. So if a fish is suddenly trapped, make sure to look in. If something's wrong with the fish, they're not feeling well or something like that, immediately go in. If you don't have a giant hospital tank, buy one of these breeding tanks or something small like this that will float on the water. Now, on to tip number 6. Well, there isn't really any tip 6, but here is a tip for life. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to get the latest updates when I post a new video. And also, make sure to leave a comment on what you want me to do next and share this video with your friends. And don't forget to leave a like. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!